forgiveness. We all want to forgive. Sort of. We all say we want to forgive. We realize the benefits. We realize the peace. But we just don't want to at the same time. And why is that? Forgiveness is something that has been very difficult for me. Maybe for you too. For a good portion of my life, I didn't even want to forgive. People would espouse to me the benefits of forgiveness, and I would clutch on to my anger and righteousness, fear. I felt like if I were to forgive, I would be giving up a piece of me. The piece of me that I have decided that I am, based upon all the stories and wrongs that I felt were done to me. I can't just give those up. Why would I want to? Then I couldn't be me. Then I couldn't come here and present myself to be me to you, as I hope you believe me to be, as I need you to believe me to be. And then I'd go home and I'd stress about how I could present this image that would portray me in the way that I want to be portrayed. I wanted to be special. I wanted to be powerful. I wanted to be respected. I wanted me to be me. I wanted me to be an Eric. I wanted you to know who I was. And I needed that story. I needed those wrongs to have been done to me so that I could present myself as the culmination of my story up until that point as I've decided it to be. It's difficult to even get to the point where you want to forgive, because I think it's just not true unless you go through a few steps and unless you believe a few things. We really just don't want to forgive. We want to overcome what was done to us. That we want to do. We want to seemingly forgive so that we can be the more mature or better person for it, if not in direct competition. Then we can say, oh, I want to be more forgiving of other people so that I'm a better person. I'm continuing my journey of becoming a better person. So I set the intention that I want to forgive people. I want to be more forgiving. I want to be more forgiving of things that have happened in my past or things that are going on currently. Because that will make me feel better. But it's difficult work. It's not really true 100%. It's tiring. It's work to be forgiving. You have to remind yourself. Unless a couple things fall away. The first thing that needs to fall away if you're to truly forgive someone is that you need to feel like you're not threatened. That your identity, that your self-worth, that your meaning is not threatened by no matter anything somebody else can say, do, or situation you can be put in. You're not threatened. That's a very difficult place to come to. It also requires that you take ownership over the meaning of things. this person didn't call me, so then this means I'm not important to them. That they're selfish. That they can't keep a schedule. That they always do this. They've always been like that. And normally our subconscious is the one who decides the meaning of things based upon our beliefs and past experiences. But you need to take control. You can take control of the meaning of things. Realize that you wrest that job and responsibility from your subconscious and make it a conscious process. That your conscious will now decide what everything means. Then eventually you're to the point where you realize it's all meaningless. It doesn't need a meaning. It only needs a meaning to strengthen my story, my position within that story. So you need to know that nothing can threaten you. And the way that you can know that nothing threatens you is that you control the meaning of everything. That you consciously decide what the meaning of things are. And even then, that becomes too much work. Because there's just too many possibilities. Besides, how can we know another? Because we all walk around not really even knowing ourselves. So even if they could tell you, they don't even know all about themselves, just as we don't know all about ourselves. So it's really a fool's game. And the second thing is that you need a narrative. You need a story. You need to believe that the past is some sort of investment into this present moment, and then because this happened, something is violated that then gives us the right to forgive somebody else, because to forgive somebody means that they are to blame. And if they are to blame, then that implies arrogance. Forgiveness implies blame, and blame implies arrogance. We need the ability to drop the story. And the story is one of the most difficult things to drop. Because then how does the ego define itself? How do we define ourselves as people? How are we made special? How are we made unique if we don't have a story to act within and play a role within? It renders us spectacularly unspecial. And that's scary until you realize it's not. So the act of forgiveness is not a simple one. It's not saying I forgive, because we all know that to be true. I know that I've said I forgive people just so I can appear that I'm forgiving people. And there's been resistance inside. And so we need to drop the narrative. We need to know that we're not threatened. And we have to establish the meaning or the meaninglessness. 3 very difficult tasks. And they all take a process to get to.